Alright, I am live. Awesome stuff. Sorry about that, guys and girls. I had to work out how to use OBS software in five minutes. This new YouTube live streaming thing, this app, I've still not got my head around it, so let me know if you can all hear me and all see me. That would be great. And how is everyone on this lovely Friday? And welcome to live QA episode number 9. Hey, it looks like I'm in. Very good. Hey, Dream. Hey, Twister Guitar. Are you okay? Hey, from Dallas. Very nice. Deep Loyals here. Hey. Greasy boy. I don't know why I got headphones on. I'm not playing guitar, so I don't need those on. Now I got headphone hair though, so. Alright, so yeah. Quick couple of announcements as usual. When I do the live stream, I have a discount code for all my merchandise. And that code is livestream, and you just enter that at checkout on Teespring. And again, there's a link for that down below in the description for this video. You'll be able to see it afterwards. And leave that running up for about 24 hours so you can take advantage of that. So that's a great way to support what I do. And if you obviously like my t-shirts, then I really appreciate it if you pick something up from the store. Thanks. Twister Guitar says, how am I doing? I'm doing good. It's 10:30 at night in Korea. I'm trying out doing the live stream on a Friday instead of the Sunday, just to see if that works a bit better for everyone. Unfortunately, with the time difference, I can't really find a great time to do it for everyone, so let's see if this works. Do you say I got 2 inputs going on? Maybe what have I got going on? Audio input capture and mic auxiliary. Have I got 2? How about this? Can you all still hear me? Is that better? Let me know. I think I was capturing the audio twice, so it would put an echo. Let me know if that's any better. I need to wait for this to obviously stream so you can see it. So. Yeah, Dream asked, do I live in Korea? Just visiting. Yeah, Deep Loss says, yeah, I live in Korea. I've been here since 2012, so I've been here for 7 years, actually. I think pretty much in about a couple of days I've been here for 7 years, so it's been quite some time. Audio's better now. Yeah, sorry, I had 2 basically the same mic input twice, and obviously there's probably a bit of latency between the 2. Yeah. Are you okay? Says it's 8:30 a.m. in Dallas. Yeah. Yeah, that would make sense, right? Here we go. So I'll just get the chat where I'm not looking down at the bottom right corner constantly, so looks a bit better for you. There we go. That's better. All right. What's his name? Hardika Gautama. Gautama says, thank you for your content. Thank you very much. And I'm on my way to creating my very first Midwest emo-y thing. Well, that's great. Lovely stuff. That's what, whenever I write guitar, that tends to what comes out when I, put my fingers on the fretboard, just emo-y kind of mathy stuff, which is, I guess, this is what I like and it's what we like, right? So it's what we talk about, so. That's great. Right, let's have a look what we got. John Mark's here again. Hey, good to see you again. That's a long time. Yeah, 7 years, but it's great here, Has anybody visited Korea before? I like it here. Endaf Roberts asks, where are you originally from? Your accent sounds like a combo of Yorkshire, Scandinavian. Well, I'm from England. I grew up there. I'm born and raised there. I left in 2012, but I live in the county of Warwickshire, which is next to Birmingham. So I kind of got a bit of a Brummie accent as well, I guess, if you're familiar with the accent of the city of Birmingham. All my parents, well, not my parents, sorry, all my family have got it, but I've not got it. I haven't got it as strong as them, so. Okay, there says only the left headphones working. If I put it to stereo, is that, why is it only picking up the left for? I should have looked at this before I started. Now you're only getting the left side. What's with that? Bear with me whilst I try and fix this. This time I'm using OBS to stream because I thought it would be better, but yeah, now we're getting all these kind of issues, so that doesn't help, does it? Right. How about if I bring this one back up? Hello? 1 2 1 2. So that's still. It's only getting I can see here the right for some reason is only working. If I do that, it's still the same. Properties. I'll have to work this out better next time. Right. Dynamics to mono. No, that's not what we want. Right. Don't want a monitor. Default, is that any better? I think that's probably using my webcam mic now. Yeah, sorry about this. Now I'm using the webcam mic. Let me know if that sounds awful, and we can just go back to using one input, I guess, and let me know if it's clipping as well, because it seems like it's clipping now. Damn, sorry. It probably doesn't sound as good, but you've got left and right now. All right, thanks. Yeah, Hardinka says he has the same issues with OBS. I just need to learn how to use it better. Simply that, right? There we go. Right, sorry, back to the chats. Deep Loss says, Steve, nice way of displaying your pedal board. But if you follow me on Instagram, then you see that I pretty much post a video every day, and I have this pedal board here, and you can see the tuner's going crazy at the moment because I've got it turned on and plugged into my telly. With that, so I can kind of show you what pedals I'm using, and I'm tagging the various companies that put out these pedals in a vain attempt for them to notice me, but so far it's not been that successful, but you just got to keep on it, right? Oh, and some potentially exciting news. Well, not that exciting news, but the company Didario, a string company, they reached out to me on Instagram, and they're coming up with some new strings, some secret new strings they've got coming out, and they wanted to send me a pack. So unfortunately they don't ship to South Korea, so I've sent it to my parents' place, and I'll have to get them to send it to me from there. So it might take a little while to get them, but I'll see what they're all about. I said I recently switched to Didario strings, so I said, have you been watching me? And they said they didn't notice. But yeah, I thought that was quite nice. Yeah, that's what I thought, Franklin Mackenzie. The levels are better, but it doesn't sound great. Now I'm using my webcam mic. If I make this a regular thing, which I'm trying to do, every Friday, then I'll sort it out a bit better for next time. Try and get the best setup. I need to get a pop shield for this SM57 rip-off mic here as well, because the P's and the B's come through quite strong on it. So, Are You Okay says, what's in that cup? It's coffee, and I probably shouldn't drink it at 10 to 11, at 10 to 11 at night, but oh well. It's going to be a long night, so. Never had tacos. They have tacos in Korea. There's quite a few Mexican places, actually. Yeah, not sure how authentic it is because I've never had proper Mexican food before. So, Memma's Life asks, where am I from? I just said a few minutes ago that I'm from England. Yeah, it's late for coffee, but I drink so much of it in a day, it doesn't seem to do much anymore. All right, anyway, hit me up with some questions. I'm sorry if I missed some. I can go back up. Yeah, Taco Supreme. That's absolutely name for this conversation. Just hopping in to say hey, but you can't watch the stream right now, so keep up the good work. Thank you very much, Taco. Supreme 7. I forgot to mention, I was going to say this at the start, but also that I put these live streams into audio form, and then I upload them to a website called Podomatic, which I share to iTunes and Spotify. So actually you can listen to this instead of watching it at a later date. And I've had a few people download and listen to it, so I'm very grateful for that. This one's not going to turn out so great, I think, because of the audio issues, but I edit out all the dead air and stuff like that, so it's a bit more concise and easier to listen to instead of if you've missed a live stream. So, Twas Guitars drinking coffee at 9 in the morning. Well, that's perfectly fine. Goodwin, was it Villania, Anuva. My problem is I always overpronounce names. I put too many vowels and syllables in there. He says, hey, have you ever had problems with sweaty hands while playing? I get sweaty hands all the time, so I corrode strings like crazy, so that's why I like to use coated strings. So I usually use the Elixir strings. I just got some more recently. And I've been using D'Addario as well, and if you clean them with some fast fret, and my good friend Will, he was saying just get the cloth and get the string, and in between, like you're pinching it, and go up and down on it and make sure you're getting all the dirt from underneath the string, and it makes your strings last a lot longer that way. But yeah, that's the problem with having sweaty hands. And the other one is picks. I use these, I think I said in the last one, but the Dunlop Gator grip ones, the 1.5 mil, and these, the grip does wear off them, but they're still quite grippy. When I was playing live, I'd drop the pick sometimes because it'd just be too hot. So I find I've never dropped one of those as far as I know, I've never dropped one of those while I was playing. So that was a way I combated sweaty hands as well. All right, good. So questions coming in, awesome. Marie, Mr. Well, that's gonna Mree Marie. Do you have some indications on songwriting, or some insight onto songwriting? I like to write something in the genre, but I don't have something to play with. Someone to play with, sorry, and I don't know how to put out something that makes sense. Now, that's a very challenging question. It all depends on your level and what your knowledge is of all chords and music theory, and just what your current ability is as well. But just stick within your within your framework, what you know, use the tools that you have now, and build on that as you progress and practice. So writing stuff is never that easy, but once you get going, if you come up with like a chord sequence or a riff idea, or you just any kind of idea, then you'll find that the idea starts to add to itself. But you get those songs where you'll have a piece and you're trying to force it to go to the next section or something, and it's just not naturally happening. And when that kind of thing happens, it's not so nice. But there's ways you can get around that. You can sort music theory. In that case, it's like, I end the piece, end this section on this particular note. So now I could think about, if I can sort the key of the music, then I could jump to this key, this chord within this key, or use that note, or use a scale that would run up to the next note of the chord I'm going to use, or like an arpeggio if you're just doing quick. There's obviously lots and lots of ways you can do this, but that's one way I tackle that. And also like using inversions as well. If you're playing like a C major chord, like just go to an E minor chord, and then you've switched the third there, so it's like a kind of an inversion. And then if you think C, D, E, F, G, so then you got G major chord. So if you go C, E minor, G, you don't even have to think about it, but that chord sequence will sound really nice. And then you can do the same thing from the G. So now you're on the G major. So now you can go G, A, B, so play a B minor chord from that G, and then G, A, B, C, D. So then go to, what would it be? G, A, B, C, D. So that would be a D dominant chord, I do believe, in that sense, or just a straight up major. And if you just cycle through chords like that, you can just goes on and on basically, and you can create some really cool stuff that way. Well, I hope there was something in there for you. I can't really remember what I just said, so yeah. PP Extender 666, good to see you again, and such a lovely name you have. How many hours do you practice a day? I don't really get all that much time for practice. I work full time, and when I come back home, and once I've had dinner, and when I get round to coming in here and playing guitar and stuff, I'll probably play for about an hour, probably hour or 2 hours. Not every day, but most days. But I'll be not really practicing a lot of the time. I'll just be working on stuff that I'm going to do for videos, or making Instagram videos, as you see. But just by making those Instagram videos, I'm forcing myself to write something every day, pretty much. And that way I'm getting better, I feel, especially with like hearing stuff. And when I'm not playing guitar, when I'm at work and I got time to do stuff, I'll read upon theory, not so much. And I just need to look at what the name of the app is. It's an app called Perfect Ear. So this is probably backwards anyway, but it's got like interval exercises and theory and scale exercises, so you can listen to like 2 notes and work out what interval it is, and then you start to hear how certain intervals sound and how certain chords start to sound. And it's a good ear training app, and if you want to get full access to it, I think it's only like $2 to get everything. And it's got a rhythm trainer on there too, which is really useful, so you can tap out beats. So I highly recommend that app. Two-set guitar. I've been calling it twa-set, sorry. Two-set guitar, Jesus. I swear I'm dyslexic, yeah. He says, I'm playing a tune I wrote, and I want to go into a slow section from a fast section. How do I do that? There's a few ways you can do that. You can drag out the end of the section. Well, this is how I would do it, but like you can, if you're landing on a chord, you can drag out that chord by hitting it a few times and letting it ring out before the next section starts. Right, and some other things you can do as well is, if you're going from a 4/4 beat to a 6/8 rhythm, that sounds like it suddenly goes slower. So like it's like 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6. Even though the tempo doesn't really slow down, I mean you can make it slow down. If you just go from 4/4 to 6/8 all of a sudden, it sounds like it's going slower. There's a good example of this. I forget which album it's on. It's on a Coheed and Cambria album. Well, you know, they do 6/8 stuff all the time, but what was the one? That's going to bug me now. What's it called? It's one of the ones I didn't particularly like. It's the one with Taylor Hawkins drumming on it, but one of the last tracks, there's this section that does exactly what I just said there. So it's going from 4/4 to 6/8, and you'll hear it, and it sounds like it gets slower, but from my memory, it's just the same tempo, but it makes the feel suddenly changes and gets a bit more chilled that way. And yeah, and you can always there's plenty of examples in my from my band as well, Mountains, where we change tempo a lot on our earlier stuff. If you check out like what would be a song that does that? I know there's lots that do it, but because I've always had to make click tracks and change the tempo on them, and it's been quite challenging to do so. But yeah, there's tracks by us that have that kind of thing, and you'll hear how we do it on there. It tends to be there's a break with a bass part or something like that. Would split it up quite nicely. All right, I hope that helps you. Nirel Yosef Rafalov. I'm just going to call you Yosef. He's always here. Thanks for tuning in again, by the way. And I'm glad you could make it today. Do you think your English students watch your videos? No, but it's quite funny because they're elementary students. So they're like, you know, I teach from like 10 to 14-year-olds. And they like, when I do a lesson about like who you want to be or what you would like to do, or they do it in their own homeroom classrooms with their homeroom teacher, and they'll write things like, I want to be a content creator or a YouTuber, and then like they don't know that I do YouTube. It's quite funny to I'm doing what they want to do, and in a way, but obviously I got my my job as well, so I couldn't live off what I do at the moment with YouTube, that's for sure. Franklin Mackenzie says he'd like to hear a bit about my practice time and routine. Well, I said I don't really have too much of a practice, but routine. I'm not someone who really keeps routine and schedules. That's just the way I am. So, but what I like to do is I'll write down on a notepad like this what I want to achieve within that week. Not do day by day because I won't get that. But as long as if I put like something that I want to work on for a week and then like a whole month. So this month I put getting used to, well, when I got the Telecaster, it was getting used to full scale again, you know, just getting used to, like, because I had the SG before, which was slightly shorter scale. And then this month I've been doing tapping stuff with my right hand, and like I got calluses on my my fretting hand, but like I'm still developing them on my strumming hand, and I've got a big blister on the end of this finger from what I've been doing today with tapping and sliding, so I'm not used to that. So I've been trying to get better at that. Basically, I don't feel that content with my tapping skills at the moment, so I want to get much better at that. So, but I'm also practicing finger picking at the same time on, you know, that Telecaster. I got it in FAC GCE, and I've just been playing fingerstyle stuff with tapping, and I just made an Instagram video before I started this that I'll put up later, which I'm quite happy with, and I think you might enjoy that one. So if you don't follow me on Instagram already, and you have Instagram, then my handle is at Let's Talk About Math Rock, and that's all one word, and there's no apostrophe between the T and the S. All right. Tiger Supreme says, a fight to the death between Yvette Young and Tim. It's Tim Collis, not Collins. I always call him Collins, but who wins? I like to see them play guitar off each other. That would be fun to see. That's for sure. Tim's just so precise with his picking. You know, such a humble dude. Like Deep Loss says Diodaro. Sorry, is that how you say it? Yeah, Diodaro. Sorry.
you know, companies must hate me. I just keep saying, well, they're probably not even aware of me, but I always get their names wrong. That's probably why I just stick to simple names. I know how to say Fender, so I'll stick with that. PP Extender 666 says, what DAW do you use? I'm just using Cakewalk, which is by Gibson, which doesn't exist anymore, but because I got it on a really good deal, so that's why I just keep using that one. But if you're looking for, I mentioned this before, and if you're looking for some really good free DAW stuff, then get the program called Reaper. It's not actually free, you just test it every time, but they never ask you to actually buy it, but you can use like plugins with it and everything, and I'm really surprised how good it is, and it costs nothing, so check that out. It's Reaper, R-E-A-P-E-R, I guess. This guy, yes, could you talk about how to substitute math rock chords in place of the normal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chords? Okay, so not the 7. I know the voicings you teach, but not sure where to use them when improvising. Okay, well, the chords that I use, they are obviously built from those notes, right? The one, so if I'm playing, like I say, let's just say, for example, we're in the key of C major, because easy, no sharps, no flats. If I'm playing a C major 9, then I'm imagining that's the 1. And then if I jump over to C, D, E, F, if I jump over to like an F major 7, then I'm imagining I'm going to the 4th, so I'm doing a 1, 4 progression there. And then 5, if you play a major 7 there, then you're actually not within the key anymore. But what you'll find, what will happen is if you play a C major 9, an F major 9, and then play a G major 9, it will still sound like it fits, and that's because you're going, what's it? Sorry, yeah, it still sounds like it fits, but you've just changed keys ever so slightly to go to G major. But most of the time, you'll find that loads of songs just use 1, 4, 5, and 6. The minor chord that you hear in most songs is usually the 6th, and so in this case, if we were in C, D, E, F, G, so be an A minor chord. So if you play a progression like C major 9, A minor 7, and F major 7, I'd say that progression would sound nice without having to pick up the guitar. I could imagine what that would sound like. And then I like to use the 2s and 3s kind of like as transition chords. So again, they'd be minor. And don't always forget the secret weapon, which is your minor 7 flat 5 chords, or your diminished chords. So for example, if you're playing any chord, this is like such a jazz technique, but if you just sharpen, if you go up like 1 fret or down 1 fret and play a diminished chord, and then move to the next chord, like you briefly play that diminished chord, or hang on it if you want to build suspension, that will sound quite nice. So if you've got your guitar handy, try playing play a D major 9 going to a E flat minor 7 flat 5, so a D sharp minor 7 flat 5, and then go to a C major 9, and you'll find that chord progression has like tension and release to it. So it goes, the D sounds nice, and you always got a bit of tension in there because of the major 7, and then when you go to that E flat minor 7 flat 5 chord, it adds that nice little bit of tension, and then you release it down to the C major 9, and that's a very delta sleep thing to do. You'll hear it when you play that progression. If you just strum the chords or pick them, it will sound like a delta sleep song. And a recent video I did on my Instagram, I did this this video. So I played like a C major 9 kind of chord, and then I did a C sharp diminished arpeggio, just 4 notes like that, and then I jumped up to an E minor 9, and just throwing in those little diminished runs, a semitone higher or a semitone lower. So this is going to be 1 fret from, yeah, 1 fret from whatever chord you're playing. You'll find these runs work really well. If you want to hear how this sounds in context as well, like the song Apellion by my band Mountains, in the intro riff, I'm strumming a first chord as a D major 9, and then I think on the third variation I do this run, and it's a I believe it's a C sharp diminished run. It goes do, and then the chord kicks back in again, and just that kind of thing. You know, it just adds a little nice bit of subtle tension all of a sudden. So that would be some advice on chords. And don't forget, there's also like so many variations of these chords you can play. You know, sus2 and a sus4. Sus4 has got a very mathy kind of familiarity. Jeez, yeah, familiar feeling to it. And I love sus2 chords just because if you're like Code and Cambria, like me, then you hear them quite often. So, and that stretches. It's quite hard to play, but they sound lovely. So, sus chords you can build off any chord because they take out the third degree. The third degree, if you're familiar with theory, is needed to make the chord either major or minor. And also try out a major minor 7 as well. Those chords sound very tense and they sound lovely. At the end of Code and Cambria, again, going back to them, but Burning Star 4, that album, I think the very last chord played on the, if I remember the key, the keyboard, the very last chord is a major minor 7, maybe an E major minor 7 chord, and it just adds this because the chords got happy and sad contained in the same chord, so it's really cool sounding. Like, I hope some of that helps you. Okay says, good tip on the pick. You're welcome. Yeah, check them out. I like sturdy picks. That's why I got 1.5 millimeters. But I'm also happy with 1.14 millimeters as well. So, all right. Deep Loss says, what kind of keys are rare? What are the kind of rare keys in math rock? I wouldn't say there's any really rare keys. Like modern math rock, a lot of it is diatonic, meaning, you know, it's just within one key. But earlier stuff definitely is not sticking in one key, so that's why it sounds a bit more bizarre. You know, that's one of the reasons it does. Yeah, so like not particularly paying attention to keeping the chords in a key. And if this is, you know, such a thing as called borrowed chords, so you'll find a lot of the time this is just parallel major and minor. So what this means is, like, let's say you have C major and the key of C minor, so you'll just be playing in the key of C major. So you're playing a lovely C major chord, and then maybe you're going to an E minor or A minor or something like that, and then suddenly you jump to a C minor chord. So now you're going into the parallel minor. So instead of playing a C major, you play C minor, and you follow the minor spelling there. So it's 1, 1, 2, 3. The 3 is, yeah. So C. So you could play like go into C minor, C, D, E. You could play an E major instead of an E minor, for example, because that's borrowed from the parallel minor of C minor. And you'll hear lots of bands do this, and it's used a hell of a lot in famous songs. Like if you take the song, off the top of my head, like the song "Creep" by Radiohead. I think, how does that go again? I think it's a G major to a B major, and then to like a D major or something like that. So all those chords are not within the same key. But you know, it's been a while since I've looked at that. But you know, if you just look up a lesson on borrowed chords, I did a video on borrowed chords, I should say. I've done a couple of videos on borrowed chords. So if you go to my channel, look in the video bit and put in the search box borrowed chords, it'll come up with some lovely suggestions for you, and you can watch them, and I'll instead of me trying to explain it to you without context or a guitar to show you, you'll be able to learn it a bit better in that one. So, but I really recommend you go and check that out, because you can get some really cool ideas for songs. All right, sorry, missing lots of questions. I'm glad the chat's going. It's lovely. We're all talking about math rock, and so that's the point of all this. So. Yeah, 6 months sleep says perfect ear is incredible. Yeah, it's good. I like it. Yeah. two-set guitars as you like, Adam Neely. I don't watch a lot of his videos, but he's always very interesting for sure. Yeah. I like Andrew Huang as well. I think that's his name. It's really interesting as well. Agreed. Goodwin asks, how do you practice singing while playing them awesome tappy riffs? Oh, and he said he would check out those gator grips. Yeah, cool. If you've got a local guitar shop nearby, just go and try out some, see what you think. I like them. With that, it's just really practice, but I think one trying to sing something that's quite odd in rhythm and singing over the top of it. I think I started practicing that kind of thing when I was learning the crowing by, again, you can probably tell I like Chord and Cambria, but Chord and Cambria again, because that was like that kind of rhythm. And then if you try and sing the vocal part over the top, you're going to find that you'll start changing what you're playing. And you can do this with All My Life by the Foo Fighters as well, trying to keep that rhythm going whilst you sing over the top of it. That's quite good fun. But yeah, it's just down to practice and doing it phrase by phrase as well of the vocal line. So and then glue it all together afterwards instead of trying to do the whole thing. And then you can move to section by section, and then you have the whole song. But when I play like Incandescent, when I recorded it, obviously I'm singing it separately from the guitar. But when I play live, I'm like, I have to position a mic so I flip it upside down so I can see the guitar whilst I sing, because otherwise, I can kind of do it without looking, but I'll hit bum notes all the time because I got to hit two notes at the same time a lot when I'm tapping and stuff. So yeah, I can't get away with it sounding. It becomes quite obvious that it's not been played as well as it could be. So yeah, but just practice. That's what they always say. Marie said, thank you for the answer, no problem, but don't mind the username too much. Okay. I'm going to call you Mr. E. That makes it easier for me. Oscar Johnson says, hi, just joined the stream. What is wrong with the video quality? Is the video quality not very good all of a sudden? It's never that great anyway, if I'm honest. With live streaming, but I thought this might be better quality than Google Hangouts, but it looks okay. Franklin Mackenzie says, do you have any suggestions for a book on guitar music theory? Good question. I recently, well, for theory, if you're looking just for beginner stuff, then get the guitar book. If you search on like Amazon, you can even get it on your phone these days, right? It's like Guitarist Theory, and there's a few books, and I forget what it's called now, but it's like, it'll have like theory applied to guitar, and that's a great book to start on if you're just new to theory and obviously you want to apply it in guitar. For me recently, I was looking at making sure I was doing notation correctly, and I wanted to know about time signatures a bit more. So there's a book called, it's literally called Music Notation by Gardner Reed. It's from like 1964, I think. But that book was recommended by Steve Vai on a podcast if you want to know more about your odd time signatures. But not only that, like what would it be called again? Additive like time signatures. So time signatures that don't add up to a full bar and these kind of things. There's a few terms to refer to them, and it's really annoying me that I can't recall it off the top of my head. But basically, it's like if you have a bar of like 4/4, and then you have like one 1/16th notes added onto that bar of 4/4. So you just have this kind of strange count. And again, with someone mentioned Adam Neely, I think he did a video on this kind of thing. But like you'd have like 1 2 3 4 1 1 2 3 4 1 1 2 3 4. That kind of suddenly that little beat added and sandwiched in there kind of thing, and just shows you how to notate that kind of stuff and how you can go about composing it and stuff. So it's quite good fun. Right, where are we? I don't know the Japanese band Mirror, not heard of them. Goodwin says, I feel like Steve gets the fans with the hardest names to pronounce. Yeah, I'm starting to feel that way as well. I'm like, some questions like, I can't read your name, so I'm not going to say your question, but no. I'm trying to answer every question I can, so. Yeah, SK Lounce says, bro, you can't tap, your life is over. He says, he's just joking. Yeah, I can tap, but I'd like to be better at it. That's what I'm trying to get better at. That's my aim for the time being. And that was inspired by Marcus Mina from Standards. He's just really incredible at that kind of thing. So, and Yvette Young, yeah, I just want to get better at tapping for sure. Puskin says, hi Steve. Hi Puskin, how you doing? John Mark says, how do you go about writing songs when you're a beginner in composing? I kind of touched on that earlier because I had a similar question. But like I said, if we summarize that quickly, it was just get an initial idea, some chord sequence. And like you said, if you're a beginner in composing, do you mean like music theory enough to be able to start composing, or you mean you just do you want to like actually do scores and stuff like that? But yeah, I need some more information on that one. Yeah, PP Extender says Reaper is so good. Yeah, it's good. It's good. Yeah, Marx is okay. John Marx is pretty cool tip now. Yeah, no problem. So I'm not sure which one you're referring to, but yeah. Santa Claus. Wow, Santa Claus is here, everybody. He asks, "What do you think about Fender Mustangs? The guitars." I was talking with my best friend Will about this today. We're talking about Jazzmasters and Mustangs for a brief amount of time. Well, we pretty much always talk about guitars anyway. But I played the Classic Vibe Mustang recently, and I was like, this is a nice guitar, The shorter scales makes it pretty accessible and easy to play. So, yeah, I'm all for a Mustang. Right, if some of you are writing messages and are not showing, it's because it holds them, and I'm going through and moderating it. So I need to get some moderators for this, so I don't have to keep you waiting on certain comments. So. Right, well, you're all chatting to yourselves, so that's great. Lovely to see. Dreadlocks, what finger exercises do you recommend? I did a video ages ago when I first started the channel about this kind of thing, and it was a warm-up routine, but it doubles up as a finger exercise kind of routine. And it starts off like if you're on the first fret of your guitar, let's say, and if you're going like first fret, second fret, third fret, fourth fret, and then do that across the strings, and then come back to the start, descend, so 4 3 2 1 4 3 2 1, like that, and then you can start to do different finger patterns, so like first fret, third fret, second fret, fourth fret, so first fret, third fret, second fret, fourth fret, and do that all the way across the fretboard again, then coming back down, and then you can mix it up again, so you could do first, fourth, second, third, first, fourth, second, third, and that will get your finger independence better, so that's a good finger exercise. And another one I like to do is this one. It's hard to explain about the guitar, sorry, but so like 5th fret, 6th fret, 7th fret, and 8th fret, across the strings, and then you invert the middle two fingers, and then you invert these two fingers, and then you invert again, and you invert again like that. And there's another one where you can play like a certain chord, and then you just switch your fingers around. This is in that one I got from this book, Creative Guitar 1. That finger exercise, if I can find it quickly, I believe, no, that's not the one. Actually, this book has a whole section on finger exercises, so that'll be right up your alley. But that's Creative Guitar 1 by Guthrie Govan. I'd highly recommend that. And you can find that video if you search for on my channel. If you go to the video page and search for warming up routine, and you can just take some of those warming up exercises that I do and change them into finger exercises to strengthen your fingers. And also, what I've been using recently is one of those, it's at work, I haven't got it with me, but one of those finger grip things which you can strengthen individual fingers, and I found that really helps actually. So I'd recommend one of those too, but don't overdo it, of course. Make sure you always warm up when you play guitar. Alright, I'll have to get, yeah, Samus's video looks fine to me. Well, that's good to know. Mr. E says, what do you think about adding digital audio workstation drums to a guitar voice song? Well, I've done this a few times actually, and it's good fun to program your own beats in if you do it manually. I'm looking at actually getting a beat pad, a MIDI one soon, so I can experiment with this a bit more. But it's hard to get them sounding natural, right? You got to mess with the velocities and the quantization, so it's not always on the beat to make it sound more natural. But they're definitely a very useful tool. If you think of like an album by, I believe the Invalids one, he did it all in Guitar Pro, and that sounds pretty decent to me. So, but I much prefer just having a drummer record, but obviously everyone doesn't have that luxury, right? I can play drums a bit myself. I don't have access to a drum kit, and I'm good enough to be able to do some basic beats and stuff, but not something a bit more technical that I would like to put to some of my own music. So yeah. Yeah, Mystery says, he says he keeps feeling that a real drummer is necessary for the drummer. I wouldn't say it's really necessary, but it has like more of a natural feel to it when you listen to a recording, right? I mean, you can kind of tell that it's like an actual drummer versus, programmed drums. So, yeah, and like drummers are. Math rock is such a guitar-driven genre, but like drumming is like, to me, is so important to it as well. Like, yeah, if you take a band like Chan, if you didn't have the way that, is it Nathan, I think, the drummer? Sorry, I forget his name. Or Nathaniel maybe. The way he drums is what makes it sound more mathy to me, because the guitars themselves, it does branch into math rock, but a lot of it, you could lump in with the whatever that style of guitar playing is these days. When you think of like your virtuoso kind of guitar. So, and on a side note, I've been seeing a lot of people with Mario's signature Ibanez. It looks very nice, the purple one. I'd like to try one out myself. Sean Austin Lewis says, does math rock use jazz harmony? Well, it certainly uses chords from the genre, so yeah, I'd say so, but not as much as jazz. There's no such thing as like simple jazz, right? It's all pretty technical. But I think whereas math rock is quite diatonic, whereas jazz, it's not all obviously diatonic, but jazz is definitely less diatonic, and it's jumping on a lot of chord inversions and filling in a lot of what would you call it, like semitone kind of runs, like chromatic kind of stuff, versus a lot of the time the stuff is diatonic in math rock, and there will be odd instances thrown in there. But it really depends on like what you're referring to as math rock, because if you think of like earlier stuff, from, you're thinking like Slint is, in a way, it sounds quite diatonic to me, but then you got something like Shellac, which is definitely not. And that sounds a lot of distorted guitars, very grating on the ears. And well, I love Action Park. It's such a good album. And early Don Cab stuff, well, it's very distorted guitars, and then it became a bit more melodic sounding and cleaner guitars, and it kind of evolved from there, right? That everyone started using cleaner tones. The same thing with Midwest emo. If you think like the original phase, like the hardcore scene, like a lot more distorted, a lot more aggressive, and then it became more chilled out, and guitars were still quite sporadic, but they were using cleaner tones, and then you'd have someone, instead of screaming over the top or shouting, it became more like I remember reading the description, what was it, like the neighborhood kid, damn, this is going to annoy me now, like the neighborhood kid, he he's trying to sing, but he can't sing that well, but he's full of heart, right? That's a lovely description for it, I think. And yeah, that's what really attracts me to the genre, for sure. Santa Claus, how's it going? Hey Tyler, T-Bloss says hello to you too. Alright, 2-set guitars gotta go. Thanks for tuning in, that was great. Narelle's off as well. Yosef, see you, Yosef. Oh no, I guess you're saying goodbye to someone else, sorry. My mistake, yeah, you're still here. I'm just reading this chat in order, sorry, so. Alright, got another 10 minutes, so let's get some more questions down. This is great. I'm having a great chat here, so hope you guys and girls are too. Yosef asks, he says, Steve, do you also teach guitar there, or do you not have time to? I don't, I don't have the time, that's for sure. And I've been asked quite a few times if I can do Skype lessons and stuff, but I feel like I would never be able to commit to it enough, and the time, my time would be so limited that I might not be able to actually do it. So I've never really got on that kind of thing. But I did do. Sorry, I should say I did do a guitar club at my school, but they weren't interested. All they did was complain about how much it hurts when they pressed a fretboard for a couple of months, and then that was it. That doesn't really help. PP Extender 666 with a quality question. What are some essential pedals? I wouldn't say any pedals really essential for, well, it's just whatever you play. When I started Mountains, I didn't have any pedals for about 2 years, and I just plugged straight into the amp. And I'd always get some band commenting like, so you plug straight into the amp, eh? Like I like to live dangerously. And I just use the volume control, bring it down for clean, whack it back up for the heavier parts. But people say it's a common thing to use compression, especially if you're going to play in clean. It can help with finger picking and tapping, but it's not so much desirable for if you want dynamics, right? Because you're not going to be able to play that quietly and suddenly explode and have louder dynamics, because the compression is just going to squash that. So those kind of things. As you can see, my pedal board in the background here. I just say you need, if you just want the basics, just a nice overdrive, some kind of boost option, and a compressor. And if your amp hasn't got reverb, then get a reverb pedal, because it just sounds really dry and not that nice to listen to. Delay, I said my thoughts on delay before. I think it's a nice effect to put in here and there for me, but I have to play the way I play guitar. I have to change the way I play guitar to fit the delay a lot of the time, and I wasn't really into that. So, I don't have a lot of time to play guitar, so I just wanted to write stuff that I wanted to write and not necessarily have to write it to a delay pedal, if you get me. So. It's definitely great for creating ambient textures and all that kind of stuff, right? So I really want to get the Rainbow Machine by Earthquaker Devices, but I can only order it from Amazon, and anything over $200 you have to pay import tax on in Korea. So it's like a $230 pedal, and I have to pay about $80 in tax to get it here. So unfortunately, yeah. I could pick one up from England, I guess, and get my parents to bring it over when they come over, but we'll see. That's when I picked up the Warden compressor when I was back in England last time, because again, that's $200, so it's got the tax on it. Yeah, Goodwin says, have you heard of Tide Edit? Yeah, it's a local band. Yeah, well, yeah, whatever floats your boat. This is, yeah, I like that. I like that for sure, yeah. I just got into them last week, if I'm honest, and I've added all of their albums on Deezer, the streaming service that I use, so I'll get through them, yeah. T Plus, is that, how would you guys feel if a K-pop group were to come out and they play mathy K-pop music? Well, there is, you know, math pop, right, already, but I'm not sure how that would sound with K-pop. Not so good. I really don't like K-pop, so I'd probably not like it, if I'm honest. So, and not many other people too. All right, so what we got? Rain City State of Mind says, so I wrote a riff that's 2 bars of 13/8 and a bar of 6/8, making it fit within 4 bars of 4/4. Any tips on transitioning between the two? Right, so you got a riff that's 2 bars of 13/8 and a bar of 6/8. So I would imagine that whatever you've written, the first beat of it falls on that bar of 6/8, so making it fit with 2. So by transitioning between the two, I mean, I don't know what the piece sounds like that you've written, but 13/8, what's this? That's going to be, what, 7, 8, 9, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's definitely math rock, right? When you got to do maths to work it out. So 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, so that one, if I was to, because in 13/8, I'm not sure what the pulse divide is for that, if I'm honest. Let me see. I got a picture saved on my phone. Where is it? Where is it? Okay, screenshots. Probably not that one. Probably camera. Here we go. We're going back. So 13/8. Here we go. Nope, it's not there. Well, how I would imagine it is compound meter, right? So in that bar of 13/8, perhaps you're subdividing stuff. So maybe it's a bar. I'd see that as a bar of 7/8 and a bar of 6/8. If you've already got a bar of 6/8, right? So think of it as a bar of maybe 7/8 and a bar of 6/8, and then another bar of 7/8, a bar of 6/8, followed by another bar of 6/8. I think that would help you divide it up a bit better. It's quite obvious usually where the strong beat is in the thing that you're playing, in the rhythm that you're playing over the tempo. So I say take a look at that first. Has J-Pop done that, have they? It wouldn't surprise me. Ty Jackson says hello. Welcome. I'm about to go soon, so you joined quite late, yeah. Well, what do you guys think to the... I'm going to sort the stream out so the audio is better next time. And what do you guys think to the Friday stream anyway? I think there's more people here today versus the Sunday. Unfortunately, I can't do mornings, which is evening time in America, so I think this is probably the best time. Oh, Yosef left. I forgot to say goodbye. Anyway, if we got any last questions, I'm going to get going soon. It's 25 to 12 at night. But I was going to say, I am working on reworking the 7 famous math rock riffs that I did originally. I'm redoing that one, so I'm learning those songs at the moment. And what did you guys think to the Incandescent playthrough video? I got up as I said, 5 a.m. to go and shoot that one. Yeah, got bedhead and found some nice little spots, and there was a lot of people fishing there at that time in the morning, so I was surprised. So I had to try and like craftily put the camera angle where you couldn't see people fishing in where it, well, I mean, nothing wrong with seeing people fishing, I guess, but just a distraction to the video, if you get me. But I'm thinking I'm going to release it with just the guitar only soon, so you can make out what's going on a bit better. And I did tab it out as well, so. And if you'd like a guitar profile of that as well, I put that up on my Patreon page. So I put, if you're not familiar with Guitar Pro, it's just software that will play back the song for you. And you can select like a bar and loop it and slow it down and all these kind of things. So it's a super useful way to learn songs and a useful practice tool as well. So. Tyre Jack's Nest tips to start learning math rock. Just pick a couple of songs to learn, I'd say. We were saying last week, I think one person suggested Never Meant by American Football. Yeah, the riff might sound a bit complicated if you're not that used to it, but it's not actually that difficult, and just take your time with it. Just learn the one guitar, and I said FC Premix by The Fall of Troy. If you slow that one down, that's not too hard, and then that song will teach you like how many chords? A couple of chord voicings, you know, 3-note voice chordings that sound really cool, with especially with overdrive or distortion on them. And you know, Thomas Eric uses those chords all the time. And for distortion, I know it's a bit off tangent, sorry, for distortion and overdrive, try out, yeah, 3-note triads. They sound really nice, and also intervals as well. Like, they're good for palm muting, and in the song Incandescent, the middle section of that is all, you know, intervals palm muted, and then I add the chords to make it, you know, fill out the sound, and all of these kind of things are just useful things to know and to do. But if you're new to math rock, a good place to start is, yeah, like any genre, I'd say, just start learning some songs that are in it. I know that can be quite difficult because it's more of a complicated music style, but there are accessible riffs out there for sure. If you're looking to learn tapping, what's a good riff to start learning to tap? The first thing I learned to tap was Roses for the Dead by Funeral for a Friend. I know it's not math rock, but it's just, that's what I remember learning, and I felt really cool when I could finally get it down. I remember that feeling. So yeah, check me out. So lame. And check out the guitar part to my song Restarts. That's a good one to start learning for tapping. I got tabs for that and a playthrough video on my channel. And what's another one as well? Forget the name of it now. It's by the band Maps and Atlases. From the, yeah, every place is a house. The verse sections in that, there's a good tapping part in that to learn. And you could also try and do Ted Zanker as well. That's another good tapping thing to learn. That's two-handed tapping, and not particularly too difficult. So always focused without the pick though. Yeah, that one's, I said that's pretty challenging because of the speed of it. Yeah. Yeah, every place is a house. Yeah, say so. Yeah, by Maps Analysis. That's the one. Thank you. Yeah, Never Meant. Yeah, people are saying that. So excellent stuff. Deep Loss says he was literally watching the Incandescent video before this. That's excellent. Awesome stuff. Yeah. Alright, so I'd have to get going soon. I'm just going to say again that I have a discount code for all my merchandise whilst I do the live stream, and I leave it up for about 24 hours afterwards. And that code is just livestream, all one word. And I have a link down below in the description for this video. It's a Teespring store, and you just click on the thing you want, and then you enter a promotional code at the checkout, and that gets you a lovely 20% off, and that supports the work I do. So I really appreciate it if you do pick something up. and I've got quite a few designs on there now, and my new one I've got on the way still. I'm looking forward to getting that one. I'll be showing that one off when I pick that one up. And I'm working on a video this week as well, because I keep getting asked how I get my guitar sound, and I did a video on it already, but I didn't really concentrate on that. So I'm just going to do a video on how to get like a stereo guitar setup at home using no speakers, and how to get a decent sound from it, you know, just going direct basically, without using any post software as well, like a amp simulation thing. So everything is done before it hits the audio interface, so the sound that I hear before I record is the sound that comes out after recording. Alright, so with that, I'm going to say goodbye, and I say thank you for joining in, and hopefully I'll be doing this again next Friday, and every Friday to come if possible, but I don't think that will be possible. But I want to say thanks to all the patrons of my channel. I keep forgetting to mention it every time, because that's just really keeping me afloat at the moment, and helping me buy gear. I have Amazon links again for all the gear that I use on my channel, and if you pick up anything through Amazon for those links, I just get a small little percentage, it's like 6% on musical instruments, and I turn that into Amazon vouchers, which helps me buy gear to, you know, use for this channel. So I really appreciate that. Yeah. Goodwin says remembers me saying PP extenders. Sleep well, thank you very much. Yeah, Tiny Desk Performance, the American football one. Yeah, I've not watched it all yet, but it's good from what I've seen so far. I was watching Sting and Shaggy Tiny Desk yesterday, and that was really good. So, all right, yeah, thanks for tuning in, everybody, and yeah, have a good day, and have a great weekend, by the way. And I will see you soon. Hopefully, I'll have another video for you next week. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.